I'm at the bad guy for telling my mother-in-law to leave my baby alone. I'm a new mother to 2-month-old twin girls, A and B. My husband and I are staying with my parents right now for some extra help and support while the girls are young. His parents are always welcome to come over and see the babies, and will sometimes come and help me for a couple hours during the day while I'm alone with them. Obviously, I'm very grateful for all the support and let them know all the time. Recently, the girls have been going through a developmental leap and have been very fussy. My husband and I have been working hard to figure out what works for them. And recently, as in on Friday, we nailed them a way to get them back to sleep when they're fussing. Everything right now is pretty much an exact science, and one thing going wrong could send the whole routine into chaos. That paired with the sleep deprivation means that our patience is a little bit thin. On Saturday, me, my husband, and my friend were all at the house, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law dropped by to bring us food. They were talking pretty loudly, and the dog started barking, so the girls were starting to fuss, and I was trying to gently get them back to sleep, using the method we figured out. As I was trying to get A down, mother-in-law comes over and gets to pick her up. I quickly, but in a kind note, I check afterwards, said, "Oh no, just leave her, she's fine." Mother-in-law stepped away, looked taken aback, and then left pretty much without a word. My husband texted her pretty soon after to talk them for the food and check-in. He explained that I was trying to be rude, but that we have a routine and need to stick to it to avoid meltdowns. She texted back saying that she understood the situation, but I was quite abrupt, and that there are ways that I can say those things without making her feel bad for trying to help. I honestly feel like I didn't do anything wrong, especially considering we have young babies that have been having a tough time lately, and they need to be our priority. But I'm open to being wrong. Should I have just let her pick up the baby? I'm the bad guy for yelling at my husband's nieces for not leaving the dog alone. My sister-in-law Jess and her 14-year-old daughter Anne are staying with us currently because Jess is going through a divorce. Damn near every single day, I'm stuck watching Anne because she can't be left alone. History of mental institution stays, and refuses to go to school or gets kicked out of school. I'm pregnant, and honestly, more irritable than I probably should be. Back a month ago, our dog was hit by a truck and needed pelvis surgery. She's supposed to be kennelled for 8 weeks while she's healing. She's taken out of her kennel only to use the bathroom, pet vet's requests. But every single freaking time I turn my back, Anne has taken the dog out of the kennel and is either laying with her on a couch or getting her to play. The dog, of course, does try to play, but it doesn't take long for her to be in pain. I've told Anne way too many times to stop taking the dog out of the kennel and to leave the dog alone. Yesterday, I woke up pieces off because Anne didn't go to school. Per usual, I'm not even asked to watch the kid anymore. Jess just leaves her here while she goes to work. So I'm already pissed when I walk into the living room and find Anne on the floor with the dog out of the kennel and trying to play with her. I absolutely lost it. I screamed at her to get the hell away from the dog and told her that if she so much as goes near her one more time, then she will be the reason her and her mother need to find somewhere else to go. She started snapping about me being inhumane and neglectful of the dog because I leave her kenneled all the time, and she said she was going to call animal control. I said, "Please, do it." She takes off. My husband is on my side mostly, except telling his niece to leave. But he's pissed because his niece did call animal control. My sister-in-law is pissed and won't speak to me, but told my husband I'm freaking psycho for speaking to a child like that. So what do you think? Am I the bad guy for not letting my son have his college fun if he marries his boyfriend? My oldest Cooper just graduated high school. Me and the wife have a college fund set up for him that we've been putting in since he was little. It's a pretty substantial amount. He doesn't actually need it though, as he got full rights in football and academic scholarships if he wants them. He's really strong and bright kid. Cooper has been dating this boy Christopher for about 2 years now, even though he's a little raw around the edges. He's a good kid and we generally like him. Apparently Christopher is signing up to the Marines. Well, last week, Cooper decides to tell us that he's not going to school and that he and Christopher are going to get married after he finished basics. You can guess I wasn't happy with that. Asked him why he would give up so much like that, and he just responded that he wanted to always stay close to Christopher and start life with him. He then asked if he could use his college fund to do so. I quickly reminded him that he's barely 18 and that he's never lived outside of the house before, much less living with a partner. He got mad and told he could handle it and it was his choice, which started a whole argument about how he was wasting his potential and giving up his plans just to follow Christopher around. I told him the college fund was for college, and I wasn't gonna let him throw his life away for some boy, that he couldn't get it unless he went to college. So am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for telling my sister that she seems to be a single married mom? Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm a regular listener and I need some help on this dilemma. A few months ago, I posted on Am I the bad guy for telling my brother-in-law to get and keep a job? Since creating that story, my brother-in-law got into car sales position. Strictly commission, no base pay, but it's income at least. However, due to my brother-in-law's 4th-month low employment stint during my sister's pregnancy, that has left them behind our numerous bills. My nephew was born about 6 weeks ago, happy and healthy, and he's adorable as can be. Due to this budget shortfall, my sister had to start work part-time 2 weeks after giving birth, and she went back full-time upon reaching the 6 weeks post-op milestone. In addition to her full-time job, she's applied for part-time serving gig a few nights a week. This is on top of taking both kids to and from daycare, making supper every night, doing all the housework, waking up if one of the kids cries overnight, and managing the family finances, among other things. Meanwhile, my brother-in-law sleeps in, goes to work later in the morning, does very little around the house, watches TV and plays GTA for hours on end, and manages to skip diaper changes and laundry for the kids because my sister will do it. This came to a head yesterday. I went to help them move some furniture around, and I briefly mentioned to my brother-in-law that fast food restaurants in our area of the US starts at $15 per hour, and he could maybe pick up shifts at night after his main job to help the family out. He scoffed the idea, and the conversation ended. Later that night, my sister and I were talking, and I told her my concerns that she seems to be a single married mom, and that brother-in-law seems more like a roommate. She immediately started defending him, saying he makes sacrifices like I do. We're a team. The only sacrifice she could describe was their different work schedules. I then mentioned that one thing brother-in-law could do to help the budget was to stop vaping, especially when he's in the house, sitting next to the kids. As she said that she's mad about his vaping in the house, but we can afford for him to quit nicotine right now, insinuating that his emotions will get more volatile and unpredictable. He has a history of violence, like punching holes in doors. I tried my best to explain that she's doing great as a parent, and that I love and support her 100%. And then she quickly ended the conversation due to brother-in-law blowing her phone up. A few hours later, I texted her asking if she made it back home safely. She said, "Yes, I did," with no punctuation or emojis, so I knew something was up. I replied with a cheery message along the lines of, "Okay, just checking, love ya." And she replied, "I love you too. I would like to address some things that have been bothering me through." Then she followed up with a 3-page long text a few hours later. On that you have to click on to expand into full page view. Here's my best attempt at a summary of the text. She thinks I'm intolerant of her conservative views of politics, and she's mad that I'm trying to change her mind on things. She thinks I'm racist against white people. For you all people in this story are extremely Caucasian. She accepts various things, such as Target, Minnesota, and the current US president, of trying to indoctrinate kids with sexual intimacy and supporting social changes on children. By selling Pride merch, I'm openly LGBTQ. I bought my niece and I'm matching Pride shirts a few years ago with my sister's permission, and she loves that idea. My niece calls me gay with encouragement from my sister and I, because uncle and my name are both harder to say for a 2-year-old. I don't know how she changed so quickly. So, also, brother-in-law had lots of Trump 2024 merch around their house. So let's talk about indoctrinating. She follows up on her Pride merch commenting by saying, if this kind of behavior is influenced around our kids, then boundaries will need to be set. He accuses me of hypocrisy by calling out brother-in-law's work history when I have changed jobs frequently over the past 2 years since graduating college. She's mad that I don't appreciate everything that brother-in-law does too. Which is what exactly? She says that not all straight white men are horrible, and I wish you will understand that. I have reread her text a few times and keep finding more down whistles and other comments that she wouldn't normally say. I can't help but feel like brother-in-law is influencing her. I don't want to lose my relationship with my sister or her kids over this. So guys, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for increasing my brother's rent? I got custody of my younger brother 3 years ago. They are currently 13, 17, and 19. Around 1 and 5 years ago, we moved from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom house, so that everybody could have their own rooms. Before that, the 17 and 19 years old were sharing the biggest room, and the 13 years old had a little shoebox room. When we moved, it was on the condition that the 19-year-old, who was 17 at the time, will help cover part on the rent. He had already dropped out of school and was working full-time in an apprenticeship and had another part-time job. He agreed to the terms happily. I calculated how much he would pay me towards rent based on his weekly wage of his apprenticeship. He gave me what amounted to roughly 10% of his wage. This 15% excluded what we earned from his second job. Since I decided the amount he has changed jobs and he's currently earning 24k pounds a year plus money from his second job and other work he picks up. Last week I asked him if he would be willing to pay more towards rent, utilities and paying 350 pounds a month. That figure will be for rent and utilities, so very cheap especially for our area. I don't just see this as him paying for his keep, but also helping provide for his younger siblings as well. He argued a little when I brought it up, but I pointed out that his other options were paying for his own rent and utilities for his own place, and this was the best deal he was going to get. He agreed to my new terms. Our sister, however, was very unhappy that I would hike up his rent and said I was being cheap, and that as I could afford to keep at the same price, so I should. She says I'm exploiting him for his money when he's still young and that I'm acting like our parents, both deadbeats. Am I being a bad guy? If there is 2 adults working full-time in our home, why shouldn't I be swallowing 19% of the costs? So what do you think? Am I the bad guy for wanting to lose some weight? I have been with my partner for 2 years, and before we were together, I was in quite good shape, and I generally like how I look, and I was quite fit. Since we got together, and me getting a work-from-home job, exercise has not been as regular as it used to be. I don't look as good as not as my fitness levels getting worse. I mentioned a couple of times to my girlfriend that I'm planning to lose some weight, I've tried cutting back on junk food and trying to make my meals healthier. My girlfriend said me talking about wanting to lose weight make her self-conscious since she's weighed more than me. Well, this is true. I think my girlfriend is beautiful and will never tell her I think she needs to lose weight. I apologized for making her feel like that, and I said I will try to mention it less. I started going out for more walks just to increase my exercise level, and my girlfriend complained that it meant we were spending less time together, even though she's welcome to join me. We still have junk food in the apartment because my partner still eats it, but whenever she offers me, I will refuse more often than now. She said this making her self-conscious, since it's meaning she's eating the majority of the junk food we have, so I told her we could always buy a bit less since I'm not really having some. She said it sounded like I was saying she should eating less junk food, which isn't what I said at all. I started to see some progress to mention to my girlfriend, and she again says I'm trying to make her feel bad, and I just got annoyed and told her I should be allowed to talk about something I'm pleased at, and that me wanting to get fitter and healthier is not a reflection of her or how she looks, and that it's about me. She said I was a bad guy for snapping at her and going on about weight loss. So am I the bad guy for wanting to lose some weight? Am I the bad guy for not wanting to date a guy because of his religion? Hello, I'm female 27, and guy 30 male, also not his real name. We are friends and have been for a while. He's asked me for out once a few years ago, and I turned him down because I didn't know him that well. Since there we have become friends and have some mutual friends and hang out occasionally. Now I want to make it clear and kind of time him up before bringing it down. Guy is on a paper great man. He has his life together, 401k, a house, and according to our mutual friends, money saved up for his future family. Great values, family oriented, and it's really for the future and everything that comes with it. He also isn't bad on the eye. In fact, he's very handsome. I'm almost the exact opposite of him. I don't have enough money. I still live with my mom, and I don't know where my future is headed. Guy is devout Pentecostal. I mean the whole nine, like the Hillsong Church kind of religion. I do believe in Jesus, but not in the same way as he does. Even the most devout Christian Catholics ever know cringe when they hear of Pentecostalism. When Christian cringe at you, sometimes it's wrong. I also have this personal preference that if I even get the slightest toe that you will kick out, disown or force your children into any form conversation therapy just for being gay or trans or anywhere on the spectrum, I am instantly uninterested. That's your child. Seeing as how he is devout, Pentecostal, and even Christian cringe at all, you can gather that he does not believe in being gay or support or care for the LGBTQ plus community in any way, although I technically have heard this directly out of his mouth. I know that it could be completely wrong, however, going off a hypothesis, it isn't. Also, the Pentecostal religion believes in speaking in tongues. They believe this is when they are saved. Did you get that? They believe that when you learn to speak in their tongue language, that you're henceforth saved. Want to know how they learn to speak the language? They believe that God just one day decides to put the language in their head. Yep, you get it right. God just one day puts the language in their head. Guy has not been saved yet and has went to other churches, and when he told his pastor and other churchgoers at his church they told him that it wasn't right for him to seek out guidance from other people in churches and that only they will know what he needs and when. Now, if you into any form of true crime that might sound a little culty, because to normal functioning humans know it is one, there isn't any talking him out of it. If there was, however, he might stand a chance. Like I said, he has all his ducks in a row, and it is handsome man. To add, he doesn't drink, never ever, not once. And my dad has a drinking tour he hosts twice a year. And I haven't missed since I turned 21. And we drink old-fashioned together all the time. So I don't know if I could handle that judgment too. So I'm at the back for not wanting to date a guy because of his religion.